Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be discussing COVID-19 and stress among student service members and veterans. Now, to begin, the COVID pandemic has been very traumatic among individuals and even revealed the nationwide deficiencies among organizational effectiveness and crisis response planning. And this is a big concern for student service members and veterans as they cite social interactions to be a key protective factor against stress. The current literature also is very little when examining the impacts on university students, but to our knowledge, none has examined the COVID-19's impact on student service members and veterans. As such, the current study wanted to examine the general worries and self-reported impacts on this population, as well as look at prior trauma exposure and its relationship to coping and behaving. So do people react differently or prefer different things based on having a prior trauma exposure? A survey was conducted on 82 students from a southern university who were measured on general or specific COVID-19 questions, psychosocial functioning, depression, anxiety, and stress, as well as dispositional resilience and a disability inventory, self-efficacy, and even a PTSD checklist. And when looking at the results, we see two overarching themes. So for campus return during the pandemic, 64.6% were moderately or very concerned about returning. And we also see that they cited it as maybe due to contracting the virus themselves, transmitting it to their parents, or having just a general unspecified worry. We also see that this influences class modality. So if you look at this chart, those who were moderately or very concerned did prefer to be fully online, hybrid, or even defer for 1 year. However, when we look at trauma exposure, we also see similar patterns. Those who had experienced a prior trauma preferred alternative ways of learning, such as being fully online or hybrid, versus those who wanted to be face-to-face did not necessarily report a prior trauma exposure. And for social support, we have very interesting findings. So those who lived alone significantly had higher levels of dysfunctional cognitions, but those who lived with a significant other also had higher levels of stress. Now, this could be due to role strain theory, and it's the idea that when we take on too many roles or act in different roles, we cannot fulfill all of them adequately, and thus things fall apart. So for example, you could be a husband and wife, but now that you're working at home, you could be husband, wife, coworker. And maybe you have kids, so now you're husband, wife, coworker, and teacher. However, those who were a primary caregiver displayed higher resiliency and higher self-efficacy. Now, this could also be due to being a caretaker. One must provide and one has this drive to succeed during the pandemic. Overall, individuals with a significant other at home had higher levels of stress versus those who were single, and those with an organic social support network had lower rates of dysfunctional cognition and indicated that social support may be a protective factor for this as well. This warrants additional examination to determine if this could be due to the current timing of research, or maybe if this is an additional aspect of social support. And overall, traumatized individuals had a stronger desire to receive distance learning for courses during the pandemic. Thank you.